Hey Scrappers, it's Vanessa here with another process video. And if you watched my video at the beginning of September, I showed you the kit that I had put together and that my plan for September was to try to maybe not finish, but at least do some of the Disney layouts in my 2013 Disney travel album. And so that is what I'm going to work on here today. So what I did is I took two of the pocket pages and I'm going to work on those two pages today, and I went through there all the bits and pieces that I pulled from that one large kit that you would have seen in my September kit stash kit video. And so I pulled the bits and pieces that I wanted to use, and what I try to do is, because my kit is so large, I basically try to just choose bits and pieces and limit myself to just using those so I don't get overwhelmed and I don't have to worry about digging through everything in that kit for every single layout or pocket page that I do. So for these two pocket pages, I'm basically going to use those things that I showed you at the beginning. The first thing that I'm going to do here is I've put two strips of washi tape in three different places on three of the photos. And just to kind of give you a little overview, what I try to do when I'm doing these pocket pages in this album is I try to have I tend to have a cluster in on every photo, but not every cluster has exactly the same things in it. I usually try to keep the colors consistent in the fact that I try to put some yellow, some blue, some black, some red, and some white sort of in each of the clusters, just to keep with that color scheme that I have going throughout the album. But the elements in each cluster are not always necessarily going to be the same. I kind of just pick and choose. I do have, at least in three of the clusters, a piece of wood veneer, and then I have, like you see there, those two pieces of washi tape are on three of the photos, so that's three of the clusters. And then I'll often have two clusters that just have some of those elements but not everything. So I've sped up the video quite a bit because really I'm just building the clusters for each of the photos. I kind of treat each photo almost like its own little mini layout, so it each gets like a little bit of detail on each one. I do type my journaling for this album, so I've already gone ahead and did that on that card there that you see. And I made this layout pretty quickly in the fact that I'm again using elements from my kit, and I've pulled a smaller subset of that to try to put on this two-page pocket spread that I'm doing. So I'm working on the first side, and then I will show you, once I've glued everything down, I'll show you the six little pictures, and then I'll do the second side of the spread. So again, this comes together really quickly, and what I like about this album is that because the pictures are all black and white, I'm able to put whatever embellishments I want in each cluster, and it really pulls it all together because I'm using that same consistent color scheme throughout. Now on this journaling card, I did decide to go and take my stamp, and I showed that as well in my video that showed all the items in my kit. And I'm using two of the stamps, and one of them said, I forget what it said. It said film comes to life, I believe, and then I forget what the other one says, but you'll be able to see it in the close-ups. And so I just stamped those on that journaling spot just as some added detail for that. Now all of these photos were from our trip in 2013. We went to the Very Merry Christmas Party at night, and we find that that's a great way to be able to ride a lot of the rides without a lot of the crowds. And so we had decided that during the Christmas party we would try to go and ride the new, at the time, what was the new Little Mermaid ride. So it was great. There wasn't a whole lot of crowds, and at the time of this trip my kids were still younger, and so the Little Mermaid was a favorite of ours, and it's still one of my favorite princesses. So we thought this ride was really well done and we really enjoyed it. And so these are just pictures from the ride itself. And on the bottom card, on the bottom right, I guess it is, I just have that as a filler card. I've just added some little extra detail so that the card isn't just completely flat. And here I'm just showing you, I've glued everything down and I'm just showing you what each card looks like very quickly. There will be stills at the end, so in case you miss anything. And oh, here I had forgotten to show that throughout this album I have hidden little Mickey heads, and they're very hard to see, and you probably can't even see it. You probably can't even see it in the still photos unless you really, really look for it. But I basically hid a Mickey on each of the pages, so as my kids look at this album through the years, they will be able to hunt for the little hidden Mickey heads. And so it's just a little fun added interactive element that I wanted to add to this album. So once I had that whole first side of the Project Life layout done, I moved to my second one, and this is the one that I have that is going to hold the map from the Christmas party. And so there you see again, I'm cutting another one of those little Mickey heads, and I'm going to hide it there on that stripe. And you also saw how I'm holding the map for this one. I cut a bottom off of one of the 4x6 Project Life cards that I had, and I like the little detail of that, so I made that into sort of a little pocket that I then can slip the map into. And then I also cut that cloud piece, which is a quote from Walt Disney at the top, that will also help hold that map sort of in place, but you can still easily pull it in and out if you wanted to be able to look back at what the Disney park map looked like for the Very Merry Christmas Party back in 2013. And again, for this one I did pull out a stamp, and this is an old one from Citrus Twist. It's very, very old. I think this one of them said "Love This," I believe, and I cannot remember. Oh, the other one said "Happy, Happy, Happy," and they're both older Citrus Twist stamps. And so I just added again that detail. I'm going to add some wood veneer and some other little gems to that bottom detail as well, just to again give it some interest so it's not just completely flat. So the next card I'm working on here is my journaling card, which again I have done my journaling off camera on my typewriter. And I went ahead and put down some washi tape. Again, I'm carrying that same theme of using the washi tape that I used on the other facing page to this page, and then carrying the same sort of elements. So I'll put washi on the other photos, again carrying that same. There'll be wood veneer in at least 3 spots, and then different elements, but trying to keep that green, or not the green, but the blue, red, yellow, black, and white elements throughout in all of my clusters. And on my titling card, I did put a little title at the top that just says Magic Overload, because as you can see in the 2 pictures above, this is at the end of the Very Merry Christmas Party, and it's probably going for 1 at least, or if not after 1 at this point, and my kids are fast asleep. I think they fell asleep about 2 minutes after they got in the car, and so this was definitely magic overload at this point. So I'm just going to put a little bit of detail on both of these cards to document my sleeping kiddos in the car. And the top photo there is of my son, and then the second one underneath that is of my daughter. Again, both passed out, so they were pretty cute. And there you see I'm adding, again, that washi tape element to my son's photo, and I will add, I think I add a little potty person that's a boy as a wood veneer piece, and then I have a chipboard piece, and again I'm pulling all those colors through. The last thing that I do add once I've glued it all down are some of these little blue gems that I also added on the facing page as well. So once I put those down, that finishes up this pocket page spread, and I will put the still photos at the end. So if you're enjoying this, make sure that you subscribe and hit the like button so that and the notification so that you'll know of any new videos that come out. I am working on some more of the pocket pages for this album. So with that, I will leave you with the pictures, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.